Fellow patriots, I'm about to expose the shady relationship between our very own government and the greedy electric companies. So please, watch this very carefully. Here it is. Here's the truth. Our government actually wants us to struggle each month as we scrape the bottom of our penny jars to pay these energy crooks. It's all part of their plan. Even with sky-high electricity rates, our government is doing nothing to help us out. In fact, they're doing just the opposite, and I've got the proof. But you don't have to put up with the lies and deceitful tactics any longer, because you're about to see my little trick to beating big energy at their own game, allowing you to pay zero for your electricity and heating costs, without breaking the law. Fair warning, I'm getting pressure from the powers that be to take this video down. After all, energy is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And the things I'm going to share with you today are somewhat frowned upon by the bigwigs at Pacific Gas and Electric and the Edison Group, just to name a couple. So please, watch my video right now before I'm forced to take it down. You may think you've tried it all or seen all when it comes to reducing your power bill, yet I can guarantee you've never seen anything like what I'm about to reveal to you today. However, I want to first share a really personal and somewhat embarrassing story with you about how I stumbled upon this energy blueprint. When you hear my story, you're going to know exactly what I was going through, because I bet you're making the exact same mistakes right now that I did before I discovered this energy loophole. My name is John Hartman. I'm a 42-year-old and live in South Carolina with my wife and 2 daughters. To be honest with you, I'm always looking for ways to save money, and I'm not ashamed of it either. A few years ago, I noticed my electricity rates were going up and up, so just like any money-conscious American would, I decided to do something about it. I replaced all of my light bulbs for those expensive energy-saving ones. I turned power switches off at the wall, and even turned off heaters in winter despite the freezing conditions. And after all of this, I managed to save a paltry $11 off my next electric bill. Then, to top it off, I looked closer at the bill and noticed the sneaky buggers raised my rates even further. I felt like I'd been robbed. I was furious, I was fed up, and I wanted revenge. No matter how hard I worked to reduce my power and heating costs, the electric company would come back and smack me in the face with increased rates. I had absolutely zero control. It felt like I had given my bank details to the power company, and they were taking whatever they wanted. Even though we're spending more and more on electricity, our electrical infrastructure is completely outdated and very unreliable. According to the 2011 report by the World Economic Forum, the U.S. infrastructure is ranked below 30th for the quality of electric power sector. The truth is, our electricity infrastructure is completely useless and outdated. Whenever some bad weather was headed our way, I would go get the flashlight because I just knew we were about to lose power. It happened every time. And this is just from a stiff breeze and a bit of rain. I'm not talking about something serious like Hurricane Katrina that caused a loss of power to over 2.6 million Americans. Honestly, our power grid can't handle another natural disaster of that size. Oh, and don't even get me started on terrorist attacks. If things really got bad, you can bet we're all on our own. FEMA can only do so much to help, and to be perfectly honest with you, I don't want to put my family's survival in the hands of another incompetent government agency. But you need to know right now, you don't have to put up with this outrageous profiteering. And you don't have to put up with unreliable electricity, because it's time to stand up and beat the power companies at their own game. After I found out that conserving energy didn't work, I knew I had to get serious. I knew if I truly wanted to protect my family and keep them safe and warm in times of crisis, I needed to forget about the power grid altogether. I needed to produce my own power. That way, I'm not affected by oil prices, I'm not affected by blackouts, brownouts, or even terrorist attacks. So I looked into getting solar power. And just like everybody else, I started calling solar power companies for a quote. Now remember, I'm the type of guy that's always looking to save money. So when I was quoted thousands of dollars for just a few panels, I was furious. Get this, they wanted me to pay over $6,000 for something that wouldn't even cover my power bill. I knew there had to be another way. I just had to figure it out. This was the day I started to become obsessed with the thoughts of creating my own mini power plant. I searched for months, read journals, spoke with professionals, and I still couldn't crack the code. It wasn't until 6 months later I got a reply from an underground professional in the solar industry. He wanted to meet with me in person to share what he's been working on. His name was Michael Harvey. Mike pays absolutely zero to the electric company. Hasn't done so for the past 11 years. He has been completely off-grid and independent with his do-it-yourself solar, wind, and heating setup. So no matter what energy prices do, Michael and his family aren't affected. I remember the first time I met Michael. We sat down at a local coffee shop and I asked him about his off-grid home and how it all worked. What he told me that day was the biggest eye-opener of my life. In fact, I was jealous. He told me how he built everything himself for a fraction of retail cost. Yes, he even built his own solar panels. Michael gave me some very rough plans on a napkin to help me get started.